It's very ironic that I told this morning that I would talk about the brain. Why it's ironic? Because I just came here and then an idea came that kind of told me that it's not that the brain is all that important. So I don't want to disappoint people who are here thinking that I'm going to talk about the brain. I'm going to do that too. But I'm not going to give a lot of importance, at least for this session. Maybe in another sessions I will, or I may not. The idea that came to me, at this moment when I came and sat in front of this laptop, is that the brain is not the producer of intelligence, but a receiver of intelligence. It only receives intelligence. The brain, which is just a bunch of neurons working together, firing and creating synapses, and which supposedly create intelligence, all that seems to imply that the brain is creating intelligence through the firing of the neurons. And that is one way of understanding the brain, the modern way of understanding the brain. And this concept is very, very important for our modern neuroscience. And that's the reason why when Einstein died, the doctor who was doing the autopsy, he stole the brain and cut it into several pieces and sent to different universities, and where it was found several things. In those days, they did not know much about the brain as we do now. One was that his parietal lobe was 15% larger than any brain known. And another is there was a furrow in the parietal lobe that is missing. And then the glial cells, there are comparatively a large number of glial cells are found in the brain that attributed to Einstein's great intelligence. But Einstein himself said that everything that he discovered just came to him, and he always said that imagination is better than intellect. Imagination, which is sometimes translated as imagination, is better than knowledge. So first, what I want to do is to talk about the brain, invest in your brain. That's what I agreed to do, so I will do that. But keeping in mind also the concept that the brain is just the receiver of intelligence, not the creator of intelligence. But intelligence is central, whether the brain creates it or it comes from outside. So I'm just going to see, as I'm speaking now, My brain that is capable of synthesizing the opposite now found a solution, which is the ability to synthesize. After all, these are not conflicting concepts. There is a way to synthesize it, but the connecting link is the intelligence. Whether the intelligence comes from outside the brain, uh, it does not matter. What matters is intelligence. Now, is important. That's the bottom line. And that is what has given us an edge over other living beings, animals. The animals do not have that intelligence that we have. And it is due to our nervous system, our brain. That is a biological argument, which is true, which is not untrue. Now, the idea that intelligence comes from outside is the concept that is more profitable, more lucrative, more practical. Because you cannot simply attribute intelligence to neurons and synapses or gamma rays versus alpha spindles. All these are not going to help you understand consciousness. The highest intelligence can be produced when you are completely in a state of no thought. When the breath stops, then you are in a state of consciousness in which you can accomplish a lot more. It is time that we should combine the two together. The Western model of intelligence dependent on the brain, and the Eastern understanding of intelligence coming from out of the brain, from the ether. Everything comes from the ether. And you connect to the ether. And then there is a relationship between the two. Why a particular person is interested in a particular subject or understanding is because of his connection with the Akash, the space. And the space is the highest intelligence possible. It vibrates at a very high level. And then if you have the knowledge or know-how of how you can relate to the space, then you can have access to that intelligence. That intelligence has to be expressed through your brain. That's why it is called the receiver, not the generator of intelligence. Okay. This is my repackaging of this East-West intelligence in the form of phonemic intelligence. There are sound waves that are eternal, and the sound waves simply mean intelligence. And then when you begin to understand sound waves and experience these waves, then you will have an understanding beyond the conscious mind of superintelligence. I'll give you a small example. When I was doing the fMRI research with the scientists, I was working on the sound ah. I told the scientists that ah is the highest intelligence possible. For instance, if you want to be super intelligent, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to understand about the brain parts and the neuronal connections, the neurotransmitters. All these things are necessary for you to understand, but not as much as understanding the sound. If you just go on saying one sound, let go of your conceptual mind. Let go of your understanding that you have gathered due to a learning process. Just only focus on all. And what happens when you do that? And if you observe in the fMRI machine, this particular sound is able to go and activate all parts of the brain. They call it, they have a technical term, global activation, meaning the entire brain gets activated. At that level, the R produces intelligence which is not differentiated into biology, chemistry, math, analytical thinking. All these are all combined together. It's like the stem cell from which all other cells arise. The R sound is comparable to the stem cell. And later on, it gets differentiated. Once you get that understanding in place, then you don't have to worry about it. So what do the yogis say about the sound ah? Omniscience. Not only that, omnipotence. Not only that, omnipresence. All that are in this one sound ah. That is the primordial sound, is the sound ah. If you just focus from 8 hours a day on ah, and then observe what is happening in your life. You don't have to go and do anything. And you there is something that happens within your mind, within your brain, that is the superintelligence. Now, the Siddhas will say, the moment you say this sound, what is happening? Ramalingam, for instance, he talks about it at length. There are 27 angels that come, or more. And then they activate the different parts of your brain. And where do they come from? They come from a galaxy. And this galaxy is the galaxy of Ah. And Ramalingam was not interested in just so that we become the light, which is our true nature, which he was able to do, which is even better than the Buddha. The Buddha literally means one in the song. What concerned with the sorrow that is associated with the mind, with the body, because the body self, your natural self, is to be in that state of nirvana. What overlaps that state is this conscious mind, which wants you to go and pick up some knowledge here and there, knowledge of physics, chemistry, and biology, all these things. But then the awe can go beyond all these things, and it is going to give you whatever you need on an on-demand basis. And it is not based on your academic training. It is already there within every one of us and can be accessed very quickly, instantaneously. So every second we are in that domain of omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. And that domain is filled with a complete, saturated condition with awe. If you go on saying where is the proof, because the proof is needed because of our mind to accept it is working, that you will see that there will be the alpha spindle coming as soon as you say that the brain is working better. Okay, so this is the base. The sound comes from the sky. You don't have to struggle to be a genius. Everyone is already a genius, but everyone is contracting, is, unfortunately, because of our understanding of our, we give up our indefinite nature. So being indefinite leads you to infinity. By being finite, you are restricting yourself. You can be infinite, getting infinity, and you are not depressed in that level. Now, I saw people on the beach going and doing things, and everybody is now wanting to go out and enjoy nature after being shut down from all activities during the coronavirus. Because we have to get beyond this mind consciousness, the frozen reality of time. I want you to go and read whatever Einstein has said about time, because there is a relationship between time and knowledge. And he says there is no present, there is no past, there is no future. He's very clear about that. The whole thing is an illusion. He's not a philosopher, he's a scientist. If you vibrate at the speed of light, time disappears. Are we vibrating at the speed of light? We are not. So what can help you to vibrate at the speed of light is these phonemes, these sounds, which will give you immense intelligence. Phonemes are the building blocks of superior intelligence or genius intelligence. So that's why I keep saying that for the parents especially, don't blame it on the genes, or don't blame it on the teachers, or don't blame it on the students' inability, and attribute it to whatever. Blame it on the lack of knowledge we have. And what is the lack of knowledge? That you can have the genius intelligence. You already have it. And it can happen to you, it can erupt into you any moment. No, you keep on saying, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it. The corona is going to come back in September. Collectively, we are programming a very bad reality. A very bad reality. If everybody thinks like that, like we, collectively join together, it's not going to be there. It will not be there. First of all, where is time? Einstein is not wrong. He is right. There is no time. So, phonemic intelligence will give you tremendous amount of intelligence that comes from space. That comes from the space. And your brain has incredible ability to connect with the space. Now, I want to give you a small exercise. I want you to feel the space that is around you. Close your eyes and feel the space around you. Keep your hands facing up like what I have here, but make it comfortable. This space intelligence enters through your hand, through the fingers, and each finger processes a different intelligence from the space. Nobody has ever taught us this is how you can access space intelligence. You see the energy vibrating. It's vibrating. And they're being transported from the fingers through the hand, through the arms, and it goes into the throat, and from the throat, it goes into the brain. Similarly, the intelligence passes through your eyes, and that intelligence gives you understanding of light, and if you vibrate at the speed of light, the mind will disappear. Go beyond time, past, present, future, you have to meditate on light. This is how we have to meditate. Then you will feel the energy going in. Then meditation will be such a joy, bliss, intelligence. Do these meditations to yourself and give it to your children, your relatives, friends. See the hand is becoming, charged with the energy of space. Space equals intelligence. Feel the intelligence getting into your body through all the pores in the skin, from the top to the bottom, on the sides. Space is entering into your body. Space is intelligence. What kind of intelligence? Omniscience, ability to know. Spontaneously. Everything. Free. You are accessing free energy through your hands. Totally free from God, from universe. It cures your diseases. If you go on sitting like this, then you will find wherever you have a disease in the body, this natural intelligence of omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence will go and attack the diseases, attack the ignorance in your brain. I never thought that I was going to teach this. I'm not teaching it. It is nature, it's God who is giving this gift to you for free through YouTube, through Facebook, through my body, through my voice. The electricity keeps increasing, increasing, increasing. And the joy is increasing. The intelligence is increasing. Time is disappearing. Bring in time. Don't think about future. Keep focusing your attention on your hands. How heavy it becomes, but it is not difficult to hold it. It is a very pleasant experience of intelligence, of joy, of God. That's why people pray with hands kept like this in almost all traditions. Now we are going to come out of it, and when you come out of it, you come into this limited, finite mind. But make sure that you have done something to change the brain, to change your mind, to change your consciousness that will stay with you. And you can access it anytime. Now, slowly, slowly come back to your ego. But the ego is a transformed ego now. It's not a limited ego which is fearful, which creates time. Slowly, slowly come back to your ego, your body, your senses. And open your eyes. Now I wouldn't say I was able to synthesize the brain, the mind, and the energy that comes from outside, from space. You can do this practice anytime. And the once you have improved the general intelligence, it's a term in psychology, general intelligence, with the phonemes, then particular intelligence like physics, chemistry, analytical thinking, all these things will be easier. And you will begin to reject spontaneously ignorance, limited thinking. God bless.